So you have the work of faith. Now, it doesn't just stop there. It gets worse. Because now you have the labor of love. That word labor, it means a state of discomfort or distress, a state of trouble or difficulty. Brothers and sisters, there is a love problem in America. And the love problem in America is that as people who follow Jesus, we have bought into a notion of how to love people that is so far removed from the way Jesus loved. You know how I know? Because Jesus said the greatest love has no other than this, for a man to lay down his life for his friends. See, true biblical love is self-giving, self-sacrificing, and often leads to intense amounts of suffering. I think what's going on is that we are being socialized by media. And I'm not like an anti-media. You guys know I'm not an anti-media person. But we're learning about love from Hollywood and not from the reality of the Bible. And you know how I know this is a big problem? Because if you look at all the movies about love now, I love my wife, sweet, you know I love you. My wife likes chick flicks. Me, I'm into more like political espionage thrillers. I like those type of movies, you know what I mean? Like we're just, in the end, you're like, no way, I can't believe that. You know, you're waiting for that last like, little hook. That's my kind of movie. If anything is happening in the movie other than someone is falling in love, then it's not this type of movie. You know, so I mean that's just the truth in my home, you know what I mean? And so we know I also grew up with two sisters. I remember getting dragged to see Dirty Dancing when I was like in middle school. You know, nothing worse than being in middle school and your sisters are like, I'm like, let's go watch like Witches of Eastwick. I remember this fighting in the car. I don't know, anything was better than Dirty Dancing, you know? But listen, of course, after I saw Dirty Dancing, of course I wanted to be a dancer just like it. That's just the way that rolled. Everyone just But I watched let's scratch that, we on your pages. You know, like that didn't happen. I watched my fair share of chick flicks. Okay? I know you realize about chick flicks. All chick flicks, they run in two lines. There is the couple that comes together, right? And there's chemistry, and then there's the whatever the bad thing the guy did or the girl did, you know, that's like the second 2/3 of the movie, and then they get back together again, right? And that's where the movie ends. It's all they're falling in love, you can see it, there's that love tension, and then things go really wrong, and there's the sad, sappy music, and then at the end they get together, and then the movie ends. And that is the formula for like 80% of chick flicks. Right? So all you do is see the couple get in love. And then the other 20% of chick flicks is a married couple and they hate each other's guts. And then they recover their love. And that's all chick flicks. It's either falling in love or we don't like each other and we're recovering our love. Why isn't there a movie about what happens between the time that they fall in love and the first type of chick flick and how they ended up disliking each other the second time? You know why there's no movies about that? Because it's not entertaining. It's not entertaining to watch people not love one another. That process, from the day you fell madly in love until the point where the recovery of love chick flick starts, that process is so real and common in American culture, but nobody understands what's happening. I'm going to explain to you what happens there. What happens there is that people neglect the labor of love. People forget. They just want love to feel good. It's so wonderful. We're out having cappuccinos in Paris. Ooh! You know? And I'm not against cappuccinos in Paris. I'm not against that. But the reality is that where the rubber meets the road relationship is not 24 hours a day having cappuccinos in Paris. And anybody who's been married for more than 3 months will tell you that. And what happens is we live in a culture where we do not know how to persevere and labor in the field of love. And so what ends up happening for most couples is that when it goes from being the honeymoon point of the marriage right as that ends, there starts to be a severing in the relationship. Because most of us live with what's called, you've heard this before, the law of reciprocal affection. I read that in a psychology book. It makes total sense. It's American-style love. It's, if you love me, I will return love to you. It's that simple. If you're giving me the love that I want, then I will return it back to you. The moment you stop giving me what it is that I want, then I cut you off. Or as the soup Nazi says, no soup for you. And that's the way most of us do relationships. If you give me love, then I'll return it to you. And, and that makes total sense, doesn't it, right? You give and you get, right? It's a nice cycle. But the thing is that for a Christian, that has no business in Christianity, because our Bibles teach us that we have a steady stream of love coming from God. So for somebody who believes in Jesus, the love is coming down without fail from God. No matter where we're at, God is loving. With a never-ending, never giving up, no quitting. God already knew that we were messed up when He started this thing. So He's not expecting a perfect return. He, in His nature of love and graciousness and kindness, He is pouring love out on us. And us, as we receive that, then we just turn it back to Him. So the reciprocal affection is coming from God, but He doesn't need it to be reciprocated for Him to still love. He just loves by the nature of who He is. So as a Christian, we are receiving that reciprocal affection from God. And then we can meet everybody right where they are because we love them, no matter what they're doing. And for most of us, we struggle with loving people because we are not receiving the never-ending agape of God. We're not receiving it. So what we're doing is we're trying to get fulfilled by this love from people when really our fulfillment isn't coming from people. It's supposed to be coming from the Lord. And so what happens is for us is that if we are just purely functioning on the horizontal level, we don't want to labor in that love because that love is not returning. Like if you labor in a field, you hope that you're going to get a crop out of that. You know what I mean? If you got a tomato garden, you know, maybe some of you guys have like 5-gallon tubs on your little deck or whatever. You know, you're going to put stuff in it because you're hoping to get some tomatoes out of it. See, for us, we need to realize that true biblical love is a labor. And that means it is distressing sometimes. It is difficult oftentimes. And we need to learn how to labor in love.